Hey humans! Welcome to Read to Me, Matt Dunn. I'm Matt Dunn, and I'm going to read to you. We are reading Frankenstein, chapter 23. I do believe we are in part 3. Oof. What's going to go happening now? Part 3. The die is cast. I have contented to return. If we are not destroyed, thus are my hopes blasted by cowardice and indecision. I come back ignorant and disappointed. It requires more philosophy than I possess to bear this injustice with patience. That was titled September 7th. That was it, a paragraph. September 7th. Paragraph. September 12th. It is past. I am returning to England. I have lost my hopes of utility and glory. I have lost my friend. But I will endeavor to detail these bitter circumstances to you, my dear sister. And while I am wafted... You like it when I read like that? I don't know. It's weird, right? Hurts my neck. While I am wafted towards England and towards you, I will not despond. September 10th, the ice began to move, and roarings like thunder were heard at a distance. So basically 2 days ago. As the island split and cracked in every direction. We were in the most imminent peril. But as we could only remain passive, my chief attention was occupied by my unfortunate guest, whose illness increased in such a degree that he was entirely confined to his bed. The ice cracked behind us, and was driven with force toward the north. A breeze sprung from the west, and on the 11th the passage toward the south became perfectly free. When the sailors saw this, and that their return to their native country was apparently assured, a shout of tumultuous joy broke from them, loud and long continued. Frankenstein, who was dozing, awoke, and asked the cause of the tumult. "They shout," I said, "because they will soon return to England." "Do you, then, really return?" "Alas, yes, I cannot withstand their demands. I cannot lead them unwillingly to danger, and I must return." "Do so, if you will, but I will not. You may give up your purpose, but mine is assigned to me by heaven, and I dare not. I am weak, but surely the spirits who assist my vengeance will endow me with sufficient strength." Saying this, he endeavored to spring from the bed to see what was the matter. I'm just kidding. He sprung from the bed, but the exertion was too great for him, and he fell back and fainted. It was long before he was restored, and I often thought that life was entirely extinct. At length he opened his eyes, but he breathed with difficulty and was unable to speak. The surgeon gave him a composing draught and ordered us to leave him undisturbed. In the meantime, he told me that my friend had certainly not many hours to live. His sentence was pronounced, and I could only grieve and be patient. I sat by his bed watching him. His eyes were closed, and I thought he slept. But presently he called to me in a feeble voice, and bidding me come near, said, "Alas, the strength I relied on is gone. I feel that I should soon die, and he, my enemy and persecutor, may still be in being. Think not, Walton, Oh, that what is it? It started with a W, not an H. What was I saying H is for, Walton? Think not, Walton, that in the last moment of my existence I feel that burning hatred and ardent desire for revenge I once expressed, but I feel myself justified in desiring the death of my adversary. During these last days, I have been occupied in examining my past conduct, nor do I find it blamable. In a fit of enthusiastic madness, I created a rational creature and was bound toward him to assure, as far as was in my power, his happiness and well-being. This was my duty, but there was still another paramount to that. My duties toward my fellow creatures have greater claims to my attention because they include a greater proportion of happiness or misery. Urged by this view, I refused and did right in refusing to create a companion for the first creature. He showed unparalleled malignity and selflessness in evil. He destroyed my friends. He devoted to destruction beings who possessed exquisite sensations, happiness, and wisdom. Nor do I know where this thirst for vengeance may end. Miserable himself, then he may render no other wretched he ought to die. The task of his destruction was mine, but I have failed. When actuate by selfish and vicious motives, I asked you to undertake my unfinished work, and I renewed this request now, when I am only induced by reason and virtue. Yet I cannot ask you to renounce your country and friends to fulfill this task. And now that you are returning to England, you will have little chance of meeting with him. But the consideration of these points, and the well-balancing of what you may esteem your duties, I leave to you. My judgment and ideas are already disturbed by the near approach of death. I dare not ask you to do what I think right, for I may still be misled by passion. That he should live to be an instrument of mischief disturbs me. In other respects, this hour when I momentarily expect my release is the only happy one which I have enjoyed for several years. The forms of the beloved dead flit before me, and I hasten. I hasten to their arms. Farewell, Walton. Seek happiness and tranquility, and avoid ambition, even if it be only the apparently innocent one of distinguishing yourself in science and discoveries. Yet, why do I say this? I have myself been blasted in these hopes, yet another may succeed. His voice became fainter as he spoke, and at length, exhausted by his effort, he sunk into silence. About half an hour afterwards, he attempted again to speak, but it was unable. He pressed my hand feeble, and his eyes closed forever, while the irradiation of a gentle smile passed away from his lips. Wow, what a failure. What a failure. What a fucking weak-ass bitch. Margaret, what comment can I make on the untimely extinction of this glorious spirit? What can I say that will enable you to understand the depth of my sorrow? All that I should express would be inadequate and feeble. My tears flow. My mind is overshadowed by a cloud of disappointment. But I journey toward England, and I may there find consolation. I am interrupted. What do these sounds portend? Portend? It is midnight, the breeze blows fairly, and the watch on the deck scarcely stir. Again, there is a sound as of a human voice, but hoarser. It comes from the cabin where the remains of Frankenstein still lie. I must arise and examine. Good night, my sister. Great God! What a scene has just taken place. I am yet dizzy with the remembrance of it. I hardly know whether I shall have the power to detail it, yet the tale which I have recorded would be incomplete without this final and wonderful catastrophe. I entered the cabin, where lay the remains of my ill-fated and admirable friend. Over him hung a form which I cannot find words to describe, a gigantic in stature, yet uncouth and distorted in its preparations. As he hung over the coffin, his face was concealed by long locks of ragged hair, but one vast hand was extended, in color and apparent texture like that of a mummy. When he heard the sound of my approach, he ceased to utter exclamation of grief and horror, and sprung toward the window. Never did I behold a vision so horrible as his face, of such loathsome yet appalling hideousness. I shut my eyes involuntarily, and endeavored to recollect what were my duties with regard to this destroyer. I called on him to stay. He paused. Looking on me with wonder, and again turning toward the lifeless form of his creator, he seemed to forget my presence, and every feature and gesture seemed instigated the wildest rage of some uncontrollable passion. Ooh, okay. Okay, let's see if I can do this guy's voice. This is also my victim, he exclaimed. In his murder, my crimes are consummated. The miserable series of my being is wound to its close. O Frankenstein, generous and self-devoted being, what does it avail that I now ask thee to pardon me? I, who irretrievably destroyed thee by destroying all thou lovest. Alas, he is cold. He may not answer me. That's part 3. Well, we are nearly there. Everything's wrapping up. And if you want me to keep reading, please check out some more of my videos. We'll have a new one coming up tomorrow. You know what it is going to be. Tomorrow, part 4 of chapter 24. Spoiler, it's the last part. And then the book's over. So if you wish for me to keep reading, please check out some more of my videos. Give me a thumbs up if you like. And subscribe. Write some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Be honest. Because that's what the internet's for, right? If not to be honest. Alright, catch you later, homies.